A new EU law is about to change how we build connected products. And if you ignore it, the consequences could be brutal. We are talking about fines, product bans, and a huge shift on how dev teams handle cybersecurity. It's called the Cyber Resilience Act, and whether you are a manufacturer, developer, or product lead, this one probably affects you. My name is Luke from Hampf Studio, and our company specializes in embedded software. We are certified in quality management for medical devices, management systems, and we are Qt service partner. This means we are quite familiar with high-class regulations, and we really understand developers and manufacturers of embedded software that right now have to face this new regulation. But is this Cyber Resilience Act actually a good thing? Or is the EU overreaching with this one? Stick around, because we'll break down what this act is, who it applies to, and what it is trying to fix. Also, is this gonna make digital products more secure or just harder to ship? The Cyber Resilience Act, or CRA, is a new regulation in the European Union that makes cybersecurity a built-in requirement, rather than something that is just nice to have. It applies to both hardware and software, but the tricky part is it doesn't stop at launch. It covers entire life cycle, from design and development all the way through updates to the vulnerability management. So in short, if your product has code, connects to the network, or it ships with embedded software, the CRA wants you to build it securely by design and by default. But who exactly has to worry about this? Is it just hardware makers? Or is it everyone in the product pipeline?
What do you mean everyone?
I think this is where most teams get surprised, because the CRA doesn't just target hardware makers. But to give you the whole picture, I've asked for comment our CEO, Lukasz Kosinski from Hampf Studio, because he understands the intricacies of this act like no one else. So Luke, take it from here.
The regulation states it applies to products with digital elements made available on the market. So, what exactly are these mysterious products with digital elements? Well, the definition is pretty broad, and even though there are exceptions for sectors like medical, aviation, maritime, and automotive, it still covers a massive part of the market. In simple terms, it can be any physical hardware device that runs software, things like smart devices, wearables, IoT equipment, and it doesn't stop there. It can also be a purely software-based product with no dedicated hardware, like apps, operating systems, or even games. There are different classes that distinguish how critical a product is, but I guess we will dive into that in future episodes. For now, just know this: manufacturers carry the main responsibility, but if you are an importer or distributor, you also have obligations to verify that the product is compliant. It's a huge deal for startups, software teams, and IoT companies shipping to EU.
So why is the EU pushing so hard on cybersecurity right now? The answer is simple. The threats are real and they are growing fast. Take this example from 2023. A cyber attack hit Polish railroad system, stopping trains entirely. It might sound like a glitch, until you realize those trains are used to transport military equipment across the country. One exploited vulnerability and you have a national logistic crisis in the middle of a very difficult moment. Or look what happened in Germany in early 2025, where e-signing service, the Trust, was breached and user data was stolen. Thankfully, they were able to delete it before it could be used, but imagine the impact of having someone tampering with signature functionality. These are not edge cases, these are warnings, and the CRA is Europe's answer, putting more responsibility on software and hardware makers to run risk assessment, bake in secure by design principles, and staying accountable throughout the product lifecycle. But what happens if you ignore it? Let's talk consequences. The consequences can be serious, because companies who don't comply with this new regulation can face up to fines up to 50 million euros or 2.5% of global annual turnover, whichever is higher. And yes, EU Commission can pull your product from market entirely. But stay with me, because there is hope as well. There are some good news. There is still time. You see, the Cyber Resilience Act was adopted in 2024, but there is a 36 months transition period, which means the full enforcement of this act doesn't begin until 2027. This gives product teams a valuable time to assess their risk, improve development process, and build cybersecurity into their roadmap, not rushing it the very last minute. So is it all actually worth it? Is Cyber Resilience Act a good thing? Be sure to leave your answer in the comment section below, but at Cyph Studio we think yes. In the long run, this will increase product security across the board. It forces teams to treat cybersecurity like a feature, bringing more structure, accountability, but in the long run, more trust to digital products, especially when we see that threats grew more sophisticated. So let's recap this episode. The Cyber Resilience Act is here and is going to reshape how we build digital products. It applies to more teams than you might initially expect, and there are some serious consequences if you ignore it. But it will lead to better, more secure products. And the good news is, there is still time for you to prepare. At Cyph Studio, we've been tracking this closely and working with product teams to help them make sense of what this new regulation means for them. That's why we've put together a complete breakdown of Cyber Resilience Act that you can find on our website, complete with practical tips and examples. We'll also record a full breakdown of all the requirements that EU CRA puts on manufacturers. If you are building something and you are not sure how this new law applies to your project, we are here to help. Reach out through the link in the description or check our LinkedIn, because we are very active in that space. Stay tuned, don't forget to leave the thumbs up or subscribe to our channel to see more content like this, and I see you in the next one.